Welcome to DucBloke Tuning and Finding the Sweet Spot. Grab a cup of coffee and like and subscribe.
And welcome back to DucBloke Tuning, Finding the Sweet Spot. Today is a very much anticipated video, finally making it. When I started this journey 10 months ago, doing my reviews on YouTube instead of doing written reviews, I did it with the view of developing PEQs to help the industry so that not only would you get the best out of the IEMs that you buy, but also the brands, once they recognized the power of being able to tune the IEM to its best ability and then recirculate that back to the brand and let them try to tune to it. And it's finally happened. So this is the very first DucBloke tuned release. So this is the MK12 from Hidizs, the MK12 X DucBloke, and it's going to be released at CanJam SoCal. And what I mean by released, you won't be able to buy it there. You'll be able to hear it. They've made about 10 of these so far. They've also made some titanium versions. I'm sort of giving you a spoiler alert for the whole video. You can see it here. So it's red. One of the things, and I've got them here, this is the OG color. It's black. You could get it in a few different colors, but the one that they sent me when I did my review on this a month ago was black. And I like it red. I like red. I like Ducatis. I like red. I think red stands out, and I think red really suits this IEM. But with that, let's get stuck into, I'm going to actually run through the timeline of how this all came about and why it came about. Because it wasn't a matter of, oh, I need to do an X DucBloke, let's put my brand on it. This was more of a, let's see how far we can push this and if we can make something better. And then I'll put my brand on it. So how did it happen? So the OG, there it is, the black one with the bronzy cable. I thought it was excellent out of the box. It scored a 9.43 out of the box. And then once I tuned it, it was actually in the lower S tier. It was 9.67 at the $200 mark. And I thought, wow, this needs to be spoken about loud. People need to hear about this because what a great set if you're on a budget that can do everything. At the same time, I also liked it with the red cable on it. And I'll get into that a little bit more because I wanted to bling this up. I reached out to the brand and I said, hey, look, let's put a red cable on this. This looks really good. I also thought the tuning of it was really odd compared to everything else I've done. Usually when I build a PEQ array, it lands somewhere in that rectangle right there, from bright 1 down to warm 1, and then maybe base 2 all the way up to base 4. This landed at what I would call a warm 4, which meant it likes a warm tuning, but it also has a very unique single dynamic driver in that it's a 12 millimeter single dynamic driver that's made out of 91% pure magnesium. Something special going on here. If you can take one driver and do this with it, maybe we can do more. So it comes with 3 nozzles. I like the red nozzle. For the X DucBloke, it's going to come with a red nozzle because that's what I like. Because I thought the red nozzle gave it the most bass. And it made it so that it was very bass to treble neutral. I also tuned it. I created a PEQ. I sent this out to a lot of the community. People have been asking me. I probably sent about 50 of these PEQs out to people that have the MK12 so far in a month. That means people are buying it. People are enjoying it. And I'm going to show you some of those responses. I needed to be a believer in what I was doing. And the best way to be a believer in what I was doing was to get feedback from the community. We're going to show you some of that feedback. The red line is what I tuned it to, and the blue line is where it started at in the first place. This is how I migrated it. Right here, you can see this set right here is red. I painted it red. That's actually a sparkly red that's on there. So I went from the black to the black on a red cable to the red on a red cable because I thought putting it on a blood cable really suited it. So that's what I wound up with. I made the suggestion back to Hidizs. And this is when I reached out to them after they had sent me this set and started, a serious dialogue about what we do going forward. Here's some feedback from the community just so you can see. And I've got several pages of it. So, hey, DucBloke, I love your channel. I bought the MK12 on your recommendation and they sound wonderful. Forgive my ignorance, but I can't seem to find your email. So I reach out to the guy, I send him my email address. I send him the PEQs and he listens to it with that. So they sound great out of the box, right? Then the next one, I got mine yesterday. I wanted to get used to it before applying the PEQ. Red filter is very good, but the PEQ just perfection now. So this is the feedback I'm getting. So the PEQ, he A and B'd it, and it was night and day to him. He loves running it with the PEQ and the red filter. And then the next one, after watching your video, factoring in Duc's PEQ magic and remembering my good experience with the MP145, I pulled the trigger on the MK12. If your PEQ works even half as good as it did on the Top Pro, because a lot of people ask for the Top Pro, I've probably sent out 200 Top Pro PEQs so far. Anyway, another person who's bought this off of my recommendation and reached out and gotten the PEQs for it. Well, I'm probably missing a fair amount of what you're able to catch. You're really impressive. So thank you very much. And that was Cookie Delicious 666. And next one is, it said, yo boy. I knew if reviewers actually utilized it correctly, it would get super high marks, just like you gave it. And you and Jay, so yeah, Jay is another reviewer out there who rated this really high. Mainly a couple of others who realized this. So there are people in the community who realized this was a great set even before I did my tuning on it. Just got my set in today. Red filter is really neutral sounding. Couldn't go back to any of the other filters. And then he said the PEQ brings it further with the added airiness and sparkle. And the mid-bass tuck really does wonders to bring this IEM to life. Absolutely killer deal. So he was willing to spend $200 and he thinks it's a killer deal just like I do. And then the last one here says, just got my set yesterday and I bought the red lava cable as well. So he followed my advice. He went for a red lava cable. To me, these things sound amazing right out of the box without EQ. But then again, my previous IEMs were the FIOs, whatever they are. Anyway, thanks for the recommendation. So he loves them just as they are. He probably hasn't tried the PEQ yet. Maybe he emailed me and maybe I sent it to him. Here are some more comments. Has bought the titanium. Have to agree. Great set. Have to buy you a cup of coffee. So people have been buying me cups of coffee, and it's an app. Right? When I send them the PEQ, I send them a link, and if they want to buy me a cup of coffee, they can. There's no obligation, but I got to tell you, I really do appreciate all the people out there who have been buying me cups of coffee for my work, because it keeps me moving. It keeps things on the table. And then the next one here is thanks, that helps. This is because I sent him the PEQ. He said, of course, it is also track dependent because he was hearing a little bit of sibilance. And so what I did was I cooled down the 15K mark from 12 down to 9. But he actually brought it back up to 10 for his taste. So he realized what I was doing. I helped him out. And he was able to really fine-tune this using the PEQ and get the most out of it. So Oliver, thank you very much for reaching out. I think he also bought me a cup of coffee. The next one down, it says, the MK is a bit of a story, the MK12. But I want you to look down here. This says, as an aside, I've already been using the Crin Daybreak, and while I prefer the MK12, it's also very good. Yep, I think the Daybreak is really good, but he thinks the MK12 is better than the Daybreak, and the Daybreak has got a lot of buzz. So it just goes to show you how good this set really is, because people are comparing it against other things that are in their pair group that have more drivers. And then the last one on here from Joey. I'm still breaking them in, but so far, I'm really liking the MK12. With your PEQ. First impressions are enjoying the mids and the treble, especially vocal sounds fantastic in particular. The bass sounds good, but perhaps lacking a bit of punch. Sounds a bit diffused compared to my other sets. But for $169, they sound amazing and offer fantastic value. So again, this is a $169 set, but we actually worked on it to try to make it even better. So this is what happened after all the buzz. After I posted the video. Jessie from Hidizs reached out to me and she said, hey, DucBloke, we like the review. We want to send you a bunch more stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay, send it over and I'll see what I think. And I did an unboxing of 8. So there's another video for Hidizs where they sent me 8 different things, including the titanium version of the MK12. And as it turns out, I like the titanium version more than I like the standard version. It is full titanium. I did a review on this where I weighed it and I made sure that it was made out of titanium, and 100%. This is not aluminum, it is titanium. There's the set right there. That is a titanium MK12. What I did also is I sent them my tuning. So that's my tuning that I came up with. Send it back to the manufacturer, say, hey, your set's great. I think it sounds better with this. And this could be insulting to the person who's tuning it. I realize that. But guess what? Jessie reached back to me and said, our engineers love it. They think this is great. We want to work with you on this. I thought, okay, now we're opening up, just like I thought, where the brand is recognizing the ability of the PEQ and saying to themselves, what if I can physically match this? What if I can make my IEM better based on what I'm hearing it's capable of doing with the PEQ applied? Then I get reached out to by Jesse and Rainey. Now, Rainey, she's coming to CanJam. You're going to meet her if you're going to CanJam. I can't tell you how awesome it is working with these two ladies. They will take calls on a Friday night at 11 p.m. China time. They are responding to my emails at 1 a.m. They are just the hardest working duo in the industry. These guys or ladies are just fantastic. So they said, hey, can you send us your target? And this isn't my normal target. This is the target that is specific to the MK12. You can see I've marked it here. Perfect target for the MK12. This is, so I wouldn't use this target for everything. This target suits that IEM. And that's why it's horses for courses. And I sent them the target. And this is for their engineers to start tuning to it. They then sent me prototypes. I got prototypes. Boom, 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 just like that. So what they did is they said, look, if we can get most of the way there, can you finish the tuning? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Because no one's going to be able to bring it all the way there unless they spend a hell of a lot of time, especially for a single dynamic driver. That's going to be really tough. They sent me back a set. They added the extra bass to it, right? And they really impacted everything from, let's say, 1,000 down. And you can see here, this is the target that I gave them. So the target is above the sub bass. The target is below the mid bass and below the lower mids. But then it's above, so it floated right around the target. They were able to tune it and get it close to the target. And then what I did is I took those prototypes. Those are the prototypes there. That's the one I painted. Those are the prototypes. They sent me a titanium. They sent me a black version because they were making the red versions behind the scene. So they sent me the black version straight away. They FedExed it. They got it over here as quick as they possibly could. And this is the result. So now we are getting anodized red. We're getting a red 8-core cable. That's not the cable that's going to come with it. The cable will be at CanJam. So they're bringing the cable with. They're going to have about 10 sets made out of the aluminum and 3 sets made out of titanium, and we're going to be showing this at CanJam. They are also giving it a genuine leather case, a good case, and it's going to have some DucBloke branding on it. They are also providing a QR code to my settings, and 3 settings in particular: power amp, UAPP, and wavelet. I made 3 versions for the aluminum version, for the titanium version, for power amp, UAPP, and wavelet. So 18 PEQs in total, and you'll be able to access those if you buy the unit from a QR code. Not this QR code, this is just an example, but from a QR code. I also got them to do 5 sets of Divinus Velvets. I think these are the best tips in the industry, and I want people to try them because they seal really well and I tune with them. You are going to be getting the same tips that DucBloke does his tuning with this set if you buy it. And that's a huge value in itself. So 5 sets, you've got small, you've got medium small, you've got medium large, and you've got large. And then if you want to buy more tips, you can buy them as a set of 3 and in the size that suits you. But at least you're going to have 5 sets to trial. These guys have bent over backwards. Everything I've asked for, they've done. In fact, I seem to remember during the conversation, Rainey and Jesse, they said, DucBloke, if you want the stars, we're going to pluck them from the sky. That's how good this company, and I'm just getting goosebumps just thinking about it. That's how good this company has been. They've been fantastic in coming up with these prototypes. So here is the make it hard hitting. So I took their tuning and I made it more hard hitting. So I added that extra sub bass to it, right? And I actually followed and tuned to my perfect target as well. So, and this is that 12mm driver. It'll rattle your teeth. It is just really, really good. Then I made a neutral set. So I found neutral. I dropped the sub bass down, but I kept everything else pretty much the same. And then I made it sparkle. So that's where I dropped the sub bass and I actually elevated this at 6K by about half a dB, but the Q value was quite wide, as well as I elevated it at 15K. And this added more sparkle to it. And what I wanted to do was see if I could divide my library. If I could take my library and listen to, let's say, 40 songs and pick and choose which one of the PEQs sounds best for it, 1/3 of them fell into hard hitting, 1/3 fell into neutral, and 1/3 fell into sparkle, then I know I'm onto something. because I've got a ubiquitous set of PEQs that will work across a wide range of music. So it's no longer going to be track dependent. This is what we came up with. You are going to get a link. You'll be able to access these folders. You will get all of the PEQs. There's the titanium 3 and there's the regular 3. If we come out with a titanium version, we're not sure yet, so we're talking about that, but there will definitely be a red anodized aluminum X DucBloke. You're going to see it at CanJam. Here's my DAP right there, my DX320 Max Ti, and I have hard hitting. This is the PEQ setting and the library that I set up, and these are the songs that I thought sounded best with the hard hitting PEQ. And you'd be surprised, you wouldn't be surprised at Bring Me to Life and London Bridge, but Last Goodbye by Jeff Buckley sounded best on that setting. And it depends on how it's recorded. There's no surprise to Depeche Mode New Dress or Gotta Give It Up, but another big surprise was Elderly Woman Behind the Counter. That is a really mellow song, but it sounded best with the hard hitting PEQ because of the way it was recorded. And then here at the neutral, you've got Doors of My Heart by English Beat, you've got Evidence, Faith No More, you've got In Excess, Need You Tonight, and so on and so forth, where those are the tracks that sounded best. And I'm going to have these preloaded on my DAP so that when I go to CanJam, I'm going to go around to the reviewers. I'm going to go see Zeos. I'm going to see Jadis. I'm going to see Matthew from Bloom. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. I'm going to see Kryn. And I'm going to try to get them these into their ears to hear the 3 different settings and see what they think of the 3 different libraries that I like. And then Sparkle over here, Captain Fantastic, Elton John, Angel by Ohio Players, Tambourine by Prince, and so on and so forth. So even though you could use neutral, you could use one PEQ setting and it would sound great across the board. I'm giving you 3. So that comes with the set if you buy this. I encourage you, go see the Hidizs booth at CanJam. I will not be sitting there all the time. I'm not working the booth. I'm there to go see everybody. I'm there to go listen to things and be with my community. But the very first X DucBloke release, which I believe is well and truly worthy of being the first one, is going to be sitting on the Hidizs booth. Please go see them. Go see Rainey and her team. We've got something special happening on the Saturday night. If you're there at the show, tap me on the shoulder. We'll see if we can get you an invite into that as well. Special edition being released at CanJam. Comes with Divinus Velvet tips. Comes with anodized red shells. Comes with my tuning. Comes with a leather case. Comes with a red cable. All the things I asked for, they did. We will also have a version of this at the Bloom audio booth. Bloom, I've sent the prototypes to Matthew and to Steve. They both love it. These are going to be at the Bloom booth as well. You'll be able to hear it with Bloom. I'll pop over to Bloom as well. I'll be back and forth. And if you're at Bloom, tap me on the shoulder. Say hi. I've got some giveaways for the show as well. So really looking forward to this CanJam. It's going to be excellent. And with that, DucBloke out.
Thank you for visiting DucBloke Tuning and finding the sweet spot. Your comments are very much appreciated. I'll try to respond as quickly as possible. Share the PEQ settings with you if you own these particular IEMs or if you plan on purchasing them to maximize your investment. Again, thank you so much for supporting the project.